So what's up, y'all? Finally back with another video. This video will be myself answering a few of the most frequently asked questions about boat life. As you know, if you've been keeping up with me, I'm a merchant seaman. I'm back on the boat now, and thanks for all the support on the the boat grind series. If you haven't checked that out, make sure you check that out. I'll be basically documenting a lot of the things that go on and off the boat. You have a lot more freedom to get off the boat. I'll get into that later. But yeah, it should be a very interesting series. I'm very excited to see how that turns out. The first couple of episodes have been great. A lot of support. It's reached a lot of people as well. So if you're thinking about becoming a merchant seaman, if you're thinking about potentially experiencing what this type of lifestyle is like, I would encourage you to do so. And you could also check out what's been going on for me and my experience at this point in time. But yes, so some of the most frequently asked questions about boat life. I'll start with, well, first, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. If you have any more questions, leave them in the comments below. I left a post in the community tab saying the same thing. So thanks for the support, and anything you want to know, I'll let you know to the best of my ability. So first question: what is it like living on a boat? Boat life is not, it depends on the person. For me personally, it's not hard. It's definitely different. It can sometimes be somewhat uncomfortable. It can definitely be uncomfortable, but it's not that bad. At the end of the day, what makes it so great is, or what makes it worthwhile, is the fact that you don't have to spend any money. Now, whenever I'm off the boat right now, so I just went to go get something to eat. Then I spend money. I've, made my own decision to spend money at a restaurant because I missed breakfast this morning. But boat life, there's nothing hard about it. Like, at the end of the day, it's a job. You come here to do a job. You don't have to have everything perfect. So the food may not be great. The rooms may not be great. You may have to share a room. We'll get into that later. But excuse me. But it's livable. It's tolerable. And when you're getting paid and you don't have to spend your money like that on living, on food, or anything else, it's a good deal, if you ask me. Second question would be, well, how are the living conditions? The living conditions are somewhat uncomfortable, like I mentioned before. Like, in my room, I have four roommates. Excuse me, I have three roommates. It's four of us in there. So it's weird because I've never had to share a room with that many people. But at the same time, we're not all in the room at the same time. Right? We're not all in the room. We have different shifts. So at the most, there's only going to be one other person in there. How the times work, how the shifts work, there's only going to be one other person in there when you're in there. So it's been cool so far. I think with the amount of people that are in there, depending on the amount of people, you have to worry about cleanliness a lot of the time, because some people are inconsiderate. They don't really think about other people. So for them, it's kind of hard to recognize whenever they're being disrespectful to the space. And these rooms are also pretty small. These rooms are small. Like, think of a hotel room, like a regular size. Let's do a motel room, actually. Let's do a motel room. Cut that in half, and you basically have the size of a regular room on a boat in general. I'm sure there are plenty of boats out there where you're living like the Ritz-Carlton or something like that, but in my situation, in most situations, and what I've experienced, especially on tugs and this ship here, nah, it's gonna be cramped. But you're only there to sleep, right? You're only there to sleep. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. Now, we also don't get service. Oftentimes we're not getting service all the way where me or my roommates and I are below the first deck. We're below the first deck. So to get reception from where we're at, it usually doesn't happen. Now, if we're at a dock, then this reception is better down there. But if we're on the way, no chance. So yes, the living conditions are uncomfortable, but they are tolerable, and you do have to learn how to suck it up whenever you get on these boats, because not everything's going to be perfect. Nothing is perfect. So next question, how much free time do we actually have? I mean, we get a lot of free time here in this situation with this company on this boat, right? I can answer that question, and it's all dependent on where you're at. How much free time do I get? I get a lot, because we work 12 hours on, 12 hours off. I also work a pretty chill job with very relaxed people who understand that although I'm new, we understand what we need to be doing. They trust us to get the work done when we need to get it done, not show that we're lazy or anything like that. So they basically let us do what we do. They leave us alone. They're not micromanaging. They're not spying on us. They're not creeping up on us, trying to catch us doing something that we're not supposed to be doing. They trust us to do what we're supposed to do. So because I'm working a chill job, whenever I'm on, there is free time then. Like I said, it doesn't mean that we're just slacking off, but there is free time during the shift. But there's plenty of free time on the 12 hours off, right? So those 12 hours off are golden, because I can basically get up at 7:30, maybe 8, that's pushing it. I work from noon to midnight, just so you know. So when I say 7 or 8, I'm talking about in the morning. I could basically get up at 7:30, maybe 8 o'clock, work out, go down, take a shower, brush my teeth, eat lunch. No, not eat lunch. Nah, let me not say that. I'll say get into, go see the city that we're in, come back, and still be able to take a short nap before I have to get on at noon. So plenty of free time here, but I've also been in a situation on the tugboats where there was no free time. And because we were from port to port so frequently, you didn't really have much time to get off and explore like we do here. So understand that it depends on your leadership, it depends on your management, and it depends on the job you have, depends on the boat you're on, depends on the company you have been hired to. So every boat is different. Every boat is different. Every company is different. So if there are insufficient amounts of time in which you can have to yourself, you have to kind of finesse those time periods, right? Like I had to, and this is not really good, but I really could not find another way. I kind of had to sacrifice some sleep with my last situation because of the lack of free time, so staying up a little later to maybe read or work out, of course, pray or meditate, whatever it was I was doing, that's what I had to sacrifice. Now, I did have a day, I would have an off day where, Sundays, where, now I have more free time than usual previously at the last company. So I was able to do whatever I wanted to do in that, allotted time. But yes, if you don't have free time given, you have to make some free time in your off time. Don't try to make free time while you're at work. That's terrible. That's a bad look on you. And when it comes to laziness, it's a hard label. When it's on you, it's a hard label to shake. So you don't ever want to look like somebody who is slothful, as the Bible would call it, who shows no initiative. So watch out for that. Watch out for that. So on this boat specifically, there's a small gym, which leads me into the next question, and another question that a dude actually asked me on the boat not too long ago. Can you work out every day? You can absolutely work out every day. And I don't care if you're on a boat or you're on a plane. Well, a plane is kind of stretching it. A bus, I don't care where you're at in life or location wise, you can always work out. So a dude, getting into the question he asked me a few days ago, he asked me, he said, man, you think you can get big in that gym up there? Like I said, it's a small gym. The weights they have, the heaviest they have is 40 pounds. He's like, can you get big up there? Like, asking me that is like asking Warren Buffett or Jeff Bezos, can you get rich? I'm going to always say yes. I'm going to always say yes. If you want to get bigger, if you want to improve your physique, like that's something that you're actually looking to do, like you want to commit to it, you made the decision to do so, you can do it anywhere. And with me, whenever I first started working out around 6 years ago, everything was body weight. I wasn't lifting weights like I do now. I started out around 3 years ago. So if you don't have the appropriate weights in your mind, the appropriate weights, you always have your body weight. So like me, I'm probably 190 something pounds, 195 pounds or whatever I am. That's enough. That's enough to get me big. Like right now, I have to cut my workout short because of certain regulations they have on the gym here. But it's a day in which throughout the week, it might be multiple days, but I still get 520 push-ups, right? I'm doing at least 300 push-ups a day, right? Plus other things that I'll do to mix it up whenever I go to work out. So can you work out every day? Yeah, you can work out every day no matter where you're at. It's just, are you committed? Most of the time people are not. So they make up excuses on why they I remember the last company, we had a gym, and there's a dude that told me he can't work out. Like, it's impossible for him to work out because we didn't have a bench press in the gym. Now, see, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense, because you had enough. Just because you don't have this one thing, you can't work out at all. But see, that's the games people play with themselves, and that's the lies people tell to other people. Okay, let's get to the money. Let's get to the money, because I know that's always going to be the main attraction when it comes to boat life. Is it worth it? Is the uncomfortable living, is the questionable free time, is the limited access to service or XYZ worth it in regards to money? Does the money make it worth it? To that I would say yes, because like I mentioned before, you're saving on everything. You're saving on everything. You have to understand that in my last situation, I was there for almost 4 years, and I saved so much, I bought 2 houses. Not just 2 houses, 2 triplexes, right? So you can save a lot of money, but you have to make sure you're thinking the right way. You have to know how to think about what you're doing. So is it worth the sacrifice? Is the service that you're not going to get 24/7 like you are at home is the uncomfortable room situation, the multiple roommates, and the food, whatever it is. Is it worth it? It is if you know how to think, right? The captain, I was having a conversation with the captain the other day, super cool dude from Mississippi, and I told him, I said, I'm the best money saver you'll know. I'm the best money saver. He asked me, like, where does that come from? Like, I got two little boys, like, I'm trying to teach them, like where does it come from? How do you gain that discipline? Well, you have to understand that you're not here just to be here, right? Like, you're not working on the boat just because you like working on boats. You're not here because, if that's like, that can be a plus, but you're not working on the boat because you like being on the water, right? Because you like being on the water, you could just, I don't know, buy your own boat, rent a boat at home. You're using where you're at to elevate, right? So whenever you have that goal, whenever you have that plan, it's easier to see the big picture. Like, you're not gonna want to trick your money off, because you tricking your money off, it's like you wasting your time. You see what I'm saying? Not saying that time is money and money is time. They're not equal. But in certain situations, without that actual plan, if you're just blowing your money, right? Like, say you get paid $200 a day. So in a 5-day period, you made $1,000. Let's say you spend $1,000 on, let's say, sports betting, because that's what people love to do, sports betting. Because you just blew so much money on something so meaningless, you're gonna feel like you wasted 5 days of work, right? But if you have to have an actual strategy for what you're looking to do. You know, you don't want to just work just to work. That doesn't, I'm sorry, that just doesn't do anything. It pays the bills, I'll give you that, and we all have to pay bills, so we all have to worry about that. But essentially, no, like, you're not gonna grow just working just to work. So yes, you can save a lot. I have saved a lot. I bought 2 houses that I still have, that I'm still renting out. So you make those investments, right? Make the investments. And I have a full series, the Level Up series that I did when I first began making videos, how you can get into getting your first rental property. So check it out if you would like. How much do we make on the boat? Here, not a lot. Not going to lie. I'm glad I can save up a lot, so that at the end of my contract, which, like I said, is 7 months, I'm gonna split that up, so I don't go insane. But the amount of money we make here is pretty low. It's absolutely, it's a lot lower than what I was used to previously working on the Great Lakes, but it's an opportunity. Have to make the most out of the opportunity I was given. So I'm thankful, I'm blessed, and I just have to stick with it, see it through, and see what I can make out of it. So always keep that mindset. You should have your preferences in regards to pay, being realistic, but understand that each opportunity we get is to try to make the most out of it. If it's not for us, go ahead and leave. go ahead and leave the situation. There's no time to waste. There's no time to waste. Go ahead and leave. It is what it is. You've grown. You don't have to have the permission of other people. Let's just get to doing things that are meaningful to our lives, not just doing stuff just to be out here. So now, one thing I will add to this video, those were a few questions. Like I said, if you have more, leave them in the comments. I got you, and I will answer them maybe in another video. I'll do that in another video, or I'm gonna answer right there in the comment section, whatever you need. But one thing I'll add in regards to boat life is make sure that your mind is in the right place at all times. I've come from situations where the work environment has become toxic. I know different people have dealt with that. All of us have probably dealt with that. Toxic situations, toxic environments. It is what it is. Ask yourself the question, what can you do to make sure that your mind stays stable throughout your hitch? Whether that be a 3-week hitch, 4-week hitch, 4-month hitch, or a full year. Some people do a full year on the boat. Quite insane to me, but whatever floats your boat, bars, pun intended. So what can you do daily, weekly, to make sure that you're good? And that's not just a boat thing, it's a life thing. It's a life thing. You should always be checking in on yourself, asking yourself, how happy do you feel? Like, I'm not gonna lie, this is not a perfect situation when it comes to the boat, but it feels good though. Like, I can't lie. It feels good to be here. The people are understanding. The people are patient. The people are respectful. The experience has been great. Although it's only been 1 week, it's been great. So, for me, it's understanding what I actually feel about a situation, acknowledging how I feel, praying, meditating, reading, finding quiet time, and obviously creating the content as well. That's been amazing as well. I mean, honestly, it gives you like another thing to be excited for. See, that's another thing. You find these little hobbies, you find these little things you do, and it makes it even easier to wake up. It gives you even more purpose to wake up and be like, oh shoot, like, I can make a video about this, I can make a video about that. Like, I still haven't made a real workout video yet, being on the boat. I haven't made a long form video. It's the first one I made. So these ideas are constantly in your mind. And I had somebody, it's funny, that's why you have to watch who you tell things to, because I was talking to one of the people on here, and I was like, yeah, I create content or whatever, and he's like, oh, okay, like, what you do? Now, you gotta understand, when I first got on the boat, well, now I'm not even gonna say it, but what kind of content you do? I said, I do this, I do that. He's like, oh no. And then I told him, I said, yeah, like, being on this boat though, like, so many ideas. Like, I got so many ideas on what I want to film and whatever else. And he's like, yeah, I mean, it's not too much content out here, but you could do something with it. Like, what? But see, that's people though. That's people. Like, you come across these different types of people. And that's no disrespect to him. That's why I didn't want to say, what he actually said, but it's no disrespect to him, but that's the natural mindset of most people, right? They're looking at things like, shoot, what's the point in doing that? Whatever it is, like, what's the point? Like, you doing extra for what? Right? And that's when it comes to your mental, you want to make sure you're good, so that when people say certain things to you, it's not affecting you in the biggest way. Because it has in the past for me, right? Where somebody says or does something, and I want to slap them. I want to slap them, but can't do that. I guess can't get like that. But the point is, yes, make sure that your mind is a safe place. You spend the most time with yourself more than anybody else, right? So make sure that when you're thinking good things about yourself, about the situation. Not to say that you're just unreasonably positive, but try to see the good in everything, and you should be good in any situation. So, yes, those were a few questions I know a lot of people have about boat life. If there's anything I missed, which I'm sure it is, I'm sure there's more specific questions y'all have, leave them in the comments. I will absolutely get to them. Keep supporting the boat grind series. I'm gonna keep that going. There's a couple episodes I have to like. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. The crew on here has been great. So it's been great to experience. Great to experience that. I have a few things that I have to edit. That would be absolutely interesting. But yeah, whatever else you want to see from me, let me know. And yeah, we're gonna work. So yeah, let me get back on the boat. I need to take a shower and do all that other stuff, before I have to get on at noon. So thank y'all for the support. Watch the boat grind series. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok. Subscribe, like, comment. Thanks for watching. Until next time, when it all costs, I'm out.